I spent more money on 2 of these t-shirts than I've spent on clothing in the last 3 years. It's one of the bougiest purchases I've ever made, and I love it. And it's all because of one little rule. So let's talk about it. I'm Ben with YNAB, and this is Sketchy Advice. My wife Maddie and I would describe ourselves as junior varsity minimalists. We regularly purge our stuff to donate what we're not actually using, and we try to prioritize open space over clutter. But you wouldn't know that looking at my board game collection. Listen, it used to be a lot worse. And that's fine. We don't live this way because we think having stuff we like is bad, but we would like to have a clutter-free home, fewer things to clean and maintain, a smaller, simpler decision space, and often the benefit of buying whatever doesn't outweigh those priorities. And let me be clear, minimalism for us is not about saving money. Case in point, this t-shirt cost me $65, and I own 2 of them. That's because it's tailored to fit my body, and it's made with the type of wool that's breathable and odor resistant and moisture wicking. Basically, I don't have to wash it as often. That's what that means. And now when I get up in the morning, I don't have to make a decision about what to wear. I just put on this t-shirt that I really like, and I go about my day. Now, this video is not me trying to tell you to empty your closet and convert to minimalism, but to point out that something happens when you ask yourself, what would be the best purchase for me? Not factoring in cost, just the item itself. And often the answer is an expensive one. But listen, there's something really satisfying about that. I know some people might feel ripped off paying $65 for a t-shirt, and I would feel the same if I was just buying it for the brand name or something. But I actually felt kind of rad buying this shirt. I never really enjoyed clothes that much because the cheap stuff I tended to buy didn't really fit me that well or look that great on me. And now, here I am, buying this custom-made product with nice materials, and I know it was made in an environmentally sustainable way and that the people involved were paid a fair wage. That's a good feeling. Like, I can afford good stuff. Like, really good stuff. I love that feeling. And I love owning really good stuff that serves me well, even though it's more expensive. So if you'd like to upgrade your life, how can you start moving in the same direction? One of the most impactful things you can do is slow down your consumption. I don't know about you, but we find that when we buy a bunch of new stuff without really thinking, we tend to swing cheaper because, money is a finite resource. Other people don't do that, but then they wind up with credit card debt or a million buy now, pay later payments, or just less cash than they'd like. But when you slow down your consumption, something magical and mathematical happens. Let's go to the chalkboard. You see, if you set aside a certain amount for, say, clothing every month, but you're not using that money very often, then you have more money for clothing. And that means you might actually be able to buy that ridiculously expensive but definitely worth it sweater that was made on a mountaintop in New Zealand using magic. So how do you slow down your consumption so that you have more money to play with when something awesome comes up? Well, for a long time, I operated on the one in, one out rule. If I buy a new board game, I have to then sell or donate one of my old board games. That's a perfectly good rule if your main objective is to cut down on clutter and be more intentional. But it's not necessarily going to slow down your consumption. I found that one in, one out didn't actually give me that much pause when I was thinking about buying something I thought I wanted. What I found works even better is flipping the rule around, the one out, one in rule. In other words, you need to get rid of something before you buy something new. So you wait until that old sweater is starting to really show its age before you grab a new one. Or you take stock and say, yeah, we don't really play this game that much anymore. And you sell it before you buy a new one. I found this slows me down way more. And I think it's because it exploits 2 quirks in the human brain: loss aversion and the endowment effect. Loss aversion is simple. We feel losses more than we feel gains. The pain of losing $1,000 is greater than the joy of receiving $1,000. In his book, Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow, psychologist Daniel Kahneman theorizes that we actually feel losses twice as much as we feel gains. With the one out, one in rule, you front load the process of losing something. And since your brain hates losing things, you're naturally going to do that less often. This is boosted by the endowment effect, a phenomenon where we tend to view things we own as more valuable purely because we own them, The endowment effect is the reason that one guy on Craigslist hasn't managed to sell anything. It's not just a Death Star mug, it's my Death Star mug. Of course it's worth $20. I will accept nothing less. The one out, one in rule not only asks you to lose something, but to lose something you already think is pretty valuable. Because this rule asks you to go against the grain of your brain, your brain grain, it slows you down. And remember, we're not doing this to deprive ourselves or because buying things is bad or because saving money for the sake of saving money is good. We're doing this because it allows those categories in our budget to beef up. And we're doing that because it means we can buy the Magic New Zealand Mountain Magic sweater if that's what would make us happy. It gives us options. So look at your budget. Where do you want to upgrade your life? Where do you want to be able to say, yeah, this is pretty extra, but I can afford it? Those might be categories where you want to apply the one out, one in rule. If you have other tricks or strategies for affording the life you want, leave a comment. Your insight might help someone else achieve a goal they have. And if you want more tricks and strategies for living the life you want, then go ahead and subscribe. Your brain and your wallet will thank you. But that's it for me. I gotta go not wash this shirt because it doesn't need it. It doesn't need, I promise you, I don't smell bad. My wife would tell me, okay?